Bartlett Tree Experts. I rely on Bartlett to professionally assess my oaks and boxwoods and to prepare a maintenance plan within my budget. Call Corey, a certified arborist, at Bartlett Tree Experts or go to bartlett.com.
When the thrill of playing ball turns into the agony of a broken windshield or car window, contact Apple Auto Glass. Your local auto glass repair shop on Allegheny Avenue in Lynchburg, Apple Auto Glass provide a professional assessment with the honesty from your neighbors, so you can get back to sharing the great moments this season. Spring's here, finally, so visit Leesville Landscape Supplies for a slam dunk on your next home or business landscape project. Get the region's best mulch, plus decorative stone, propane, block, and hardscape materials for routine lawn care. Leesville Landscape Supplies has grass seed, fertilizer, straw, and topsoil, even hardwood mulch, dyed mulch, pine mulch, gravel, and sand. Start your spring project at Leesville Landscape Supplies at the corner of Water Lake and Leesville Road in Lynchburg, and pick there or have it delivered. Search 24/7 at LeesvilleLandscapes.com.
Are you tired of the advertising rep who never takes no for an answer and always comes back well after you've said no?
Yeah, hi, it's me again.
Then visit InsaneRadioDeals.com. You can shop for advertising on your terms. That's right. Not only can you get the best deals on restaurants, retails, and experiences at InsaneRadioDeals.com, get your advertising there as well. Get packages for one, a blend, or all Virginia Talk Radio Network platforms. When you purchase your package, you'll be assigned a producer to help customize your message that gets results. Thanks to InsaneRadioDeals.com.
You're stepping into the fast lane on the VTRN Sports app. 93.3 FM and 1320 AM Lynchburg, or by asking Alexa or Google Home, open VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, take the fast lane through the topics that matter across the Commonwealth. This is the Fast Lane with Ed Lane.
A whole lot of nuance. Hopefully and prayerfully a whole lot of listeners, but I mean, by the end of today's 30-minute edition of the Fast Lane leading into Virginia Tech at Radford in college baseball, that we won't have just alienated everybody. So the parenting rant, if you want to call it that, my opinions on parenting have been sparked by college basketball coaches who have spoken out this March Madness on parenting / get ready for this, old school coaching styles. Or for some people who are against it, old school coaching styles. They view it as a curse word. We're not getting into that today in the Fast Lane. Instead, there are two things to kick off the Fast Lane. We need more time for that. We'll do a Fast Five at 5-ish in a moment. One of them is the news that came down today. Tiger Woods, hydrocodone, 2 pills were reportedly found in Tiger Woods' possession, according to documentation. Look, I get where this will probably go. He'll lawyer up. Other people involved might as well. This is not exactly the reason why we want people to have to call Trost Law, although we hope that nobody ever needs their services. But yes, these people do exist and often on the road, so you do need to know of premium legal representation, as Trost Law has been serving our community and the Commonwealth of Virginia for
not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4,
but over 4 decades, as another Florida kind of guy, LeBron James, reminds us, at least from when he had that infamous comment. Tiger Woods does not need people to idolize him. Tiger Woods does not need the enablers in his life. Now, I get it. That's probably going to drive, maybe pun intended on multiple levels, where this thing actually goes. Tiger Woods needs accountability partners. Like, there's a reason why, I know there was some cuteness to this, but our TrostLaw.com Fast Take was done in front of the courthouse today, downtown Lynchburg. We could have done it in front of the police department, the sheriff's office, insert your church of choice here. You know, Tiger Woods needs that kind, a location where an AA meeting might be held. That's what Tiger needs. Look, we all have gotten into sports, if you're a fan, for something. And there are certain teams and or participants that maybe really have again, pun intended here, driven your fandom. But there's also a point where this becomes an issue. I'm going to bust out my phone because this is one of the areas where I've got notes on this. Tiger Woods does not need any of that. Like, though, the problem with Tiger Woods right now is that the fame has obviously gone to his head. And obviously we know about his the documentaries that are out there, the unraveling of his marriage, the not really shocking when you think about this with celebrities, but still infidelity that took place that led to the unraveling of his marriage. Never mind that his wife is absolutely gorgeous, and yet Tiger Woods is cheating on her with, well, people that probably aren't anywhere in her stratosphere and classification. I get it. You have that much access. You lose a lot of perspective. But there's this saying out there by this guy named KB, who is a Christian rapper. Now, to get my usher on, I listen to probably less quality rap music than KB. But KB has this slogan, and I heard it from Matt Forte, former NFL running back, co-host the Sports Spectrum podcast with Jason Romano. Fame is like cologne. It smells great on you, but drink it and it's poison. You know, drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will. Tiger Woods has clearly drunk the Kool-Aid, and in multiple ways, you could say he is drunk off of his own success. This is the fourth incident now, to our knowledge, where Tiger Woods has been involved in some kind of driving mishap. And it's not like, first of all, back to the LeBron for a moment.
Not one, not two, not three, not four.
Well, yes, technically four, maybe more than four, but four to our knowledge incidents that have occurred with Tiger Woods. Four. So there's a pattern of behavior. It goes back to 2009. The infamous trying to drive out of his driveway, argument with his wife, crashes into the fire hydrant in the Escalade. If you need a better one, Sheeler.com. There are other people out there, but you can shop at Sheeler.com. They have literally thousands of cars, and they can get one if you have a request. Tiger Woods had that incident. He had the 2017 incident where he is passed out behind the wheel of a car. He had the 2021 incident where he's involved in the serious accident in Los Angeles. And then we have this incident a couple of days ago. First of all, the number one thing out of this for Tiger Woods is he needs help. To answer the question of the Three Stooges as well,
Are you that dumb?
clearly he's dumb or he has severe problems. This guy is worth plenty. I'm going to do a quick Google because nothing says professional quite like Googling something. Tiger Woods is worth $1.3 to $1.5 billion. Billion. You can't pay a driver? You can't pay somebody to shuttle you around? Like, what are we doing? Anytime Derek Jeter, and by the way, if you want to talk about a master, Derek Jeter fell into all the vices reportedly. Partying, lots of women, all of that. But he went the anti-Tiger route. Rather than cheating on his wife, Derek Jeter just didn't get married. Rather than driving while he was impaired, and Tiger Woods has a history of this, Derek Jeter reportedly, as soon as he consumed any drop, or if he knew it was going to happen, he had a driver waiting for him. And Derek Jeter is certainly worth in the nine figures, over $100 million, but he's not worth $1.3 to $1.5 billion. He does not have his own clothing line explicitly for him the way Tiger Woods does, and he had literally catapulted the sport. But with that has come the Tiger Woods effect, not the fan passion for him, but the enablement. The people that are tied into Tiger Woods in business, do they really want to risk alienating their business connection with Tiger Woods for what's in the right thing to do for Tiger Woods? Again, lessons you don't teach your kids. Oftentimes, people will not do what's best for you personally. They look at what's best for themselves professionally and will enable you to do what you want as long as they benefit professionally. Tiger Woods is in that camp. Bringing this up is important in this sense. There may not be another time for Tiger Woods to get this right. Like, if this guy continues with this pattern of behavior, I don't care how invincible you feel for being a celebrity. Like, I really don't. It's the saying with substance abuse. My family has got a nice history of it. We do everything 100%. We do our career 100%. We do addiction 100%. We do it all 100%. Substance abuse doesn't care about that. The way your body chemistry interacts with substances, it just interacts the way that it does. And if Tiger Woods doesn't get help, it's not going to get better for him. It's going to get worse and more embarrassing. And at some point, it may be the end. And I hope and pray that he gets the help he needs. But this is a guy that earned over $120 million in prize money and is worth over $1 billion because of endorsements, investments, and business ventures, many of which have been successful. But Tiger Woods, this whole TRMW Sports, which is, got its golf thing. They've expanded. Tiger Woods appearance golfing gets the highest ratings. If that craters, but Tiger gets the help, it will be better for him. Okay, his ego will take a bruising, but Tiger does not need that. But golf does not have a very good history of this. John Daly is another example. People love the clowning around. He's like one of us, John Daly. It prevented him from ever reaching his ceiling. People love Tiger Woods so much as well. They idolize him that I don't think he'll get the help. I hope and pray he does, but I'm not exactly holding my breath that this is going to happen. Meanwhile, speaking of help, if you need some or know somebody who does, Central Virginia Counseling, Wigington Road and Timberlake Road in Lynchburg, they can help from anything as much as you just want to be the best version of yourself. Maybe you or your spouse need to go for couples counseling. Maybe you have substance abuse challenges like Tiger Woods. They can help with it all. They are licensed and certified to assist you at Central Virginia Counseling, Wigington Road and Timberlake Road in Lynchburg. We could have done our TrostLaw.com fast take from there as well earlier today. The other thing that's popped up in the news over the last 24 hours, Jaden Ivey of the Chicago Bulls has been released for basically calling out the team for Pride Day. And, there are a couple ways to look at this. This comes on the heels of Daniel Dye, the NASCAR driver, who was just reinstated for a homophobic slur. First of all, the homophobic slur, like we should have learned this back when Kyle Larson had the racial slur back in 2020. What you say and do in your private time does reflect on your business and on the people with whom you employ. Like, it's always driven me nuts. Tweets do not represent my company. BS. Yes, they do. Tweets, Instagram posts, whatever happens on social media, everything is a reflection of your company. If you're a public figure, that's the flip side to it. What you do in the public is an impact of what your brand is and the people with whom you do business. Tiger Woods, great talent, great value. He gets tolerance more than he probably should. A lot of other people don't. And that's one of the lessons out of this. Jaden Ivey is not in a spot where he could afford to come out and say something like this. Like, take, for example, today, Travion Henderson, who came out in support of Jaden Ivey. Henderson is the rookie running back for the New England Patriots. He and Ramondre Stevenson tag team for that, and he also is a good kick returner for the Pats. Second-round pick. They got a lot of investment in it. Greater talent, greater investment, greater tolerance. Jaden Ivey, yes, he was cut for his homophobic comments, or people will call it homophobic. He is comments about not being in support of the Bulls business venture around Pride Month. But if Jaden Ivey were, we'll just use the clearest example here. Let's just say Giannis wanted to come out. Do you think the Bucks are going to cut Giannis? Anthony Edwards of the Timberwolves, LeBron James or Luka of the Lakers, Victor Wembanyama of the Spurs, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Thunder, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. If any of them came out with this type of comment, would there be backlash? Absolutely. But they are afforded a different level of tolerance. Now, you could say that's something to admire about Jaden Ivey. I can understand that. But I'll also say this. Part of Jaden Ivey's history is not necessarily the best history in terms of what he has done on a personal level. And I get it. When you commit yourself to Christ, you do put your past behind you to a certain extent in terms of living that way. But it doesn't mean the past actions that you took don't still follow you around. That's a fine line to walk. There's also a level of nuance that can come out of this. And I think Mike Vrabel of the New England Patriots, I tweeted it up back whenever Twitter gets working again, Fastlane headline on Twitter. But Mike Vrabel said, he believes Travion is a great guy, great teammate, but also a great person. But also wants to make sure he's educated on people of different views and perspectives. Like, I can understand that. The thing for me is, and we'll go through this in my family. I've got a cousin who's gay and getting married to a cousin. And my big thing is, if it's in a church, you're going to have a tough time getting me to support it. Just my personal stances, religious stances. But if it's just hey, we still want you to love us and support us as people. I can support them as people, even if you don't agree with the religious side of the marriage. I think those things can be put into different contexts and silos. I'll also go into a step further on this. There's freedom of church, freedom of state, but there's also the blending and separation of it. Generally, I'm a separation of church and state kind of guy. What you do within the church, I've got pretty strict definitions of. But what happens within the court of common law, I view it as differently, partially because of my issues with politicians not really practicing what they claim to preach in a lot of these cases, if you get my drift on that. Their behavior doesn't often back up. They're chameleons. They don't actually believe things. They believe what's going to get them elected, not because they genuinely care about something. So it's a very common, nuanced situation, but there's also a major difference. And I was thinking about doing a TrostLaw.com fast take on this, but this is just so much more nuance based with Jaden Ivey and the Bulls. If Jaden Ivey was Travion Henderson and came out against, Pride Day at the Patriots game, first of all, he'd be given more tolerance. But I also would sit there and give him the benefit of the doubt on a personal level, because everything I've heard about Travion Henderson, and I know people who are tied into him from his time, he's from Virginia, from the Richmond area, and people that are tied into Henderson from his time at Ohio State as well. Everybody speaks extremely highly of the guy. He may be against Pride Day, but as a just genuine person, there's a lot of people that really back who he is as a person. And his religious beliefs may not align with what your beliefs are personally, but as a person, I think there's a lot of merit to who Travion Henderson is as a person. Jaden Ivey may be a changed person, but Jaden Ivey's background is not always the cleanest. And therefore, there's, again, the level of tolerance and, frankly, being the ambassador in this. So that's where I have a little bit more of a brushback on this. Fastlane Ed Lane, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if you want to weigh in. And FastlaneEdLane@gmail.com. I'm going to put that out there in case it's easier to go into something in greater depth, because someone may have like a multi-paragraph response and it's easier to put it into an email on this. This is a nuanced situation, and that's part of why I would have rather addressed this now than a TrostLaw.com fast take. I've said my pieces, TJ. You can go ahead and weigh in if you've got any on this as well.
I will say, I'm for everyone having their own opinion as well, but I do agree with you in the fact that Jaden Ivey is considered a C tier, B tier player. So he's not going to get the same treatment as a superstar would if they came out and said it. Thus, why the cutting? I don't agree with the cut, with him being cut, because he is a good player. But if you're the Bulls and you're the marketing team and you're thinking about how people would respond to it mostly, and you think about the ticket sales and so forth, I can see why what happened came into factor. And that's just what it is,
You can also disagree with something.
Absolutely.
And say, look, as a Christian individual, I
Yeah.
disagree with this, but I do understand why they are involved in this. And while I personally would not like to be involved in this,
Right.
I respect their business right to go about this. Like there's a level of
Yeah.
nuance in this country that I think is lost on this,
Yeah.
where you can do that. And I get there are going to be people that are hard on one side. It doesn't bother me in that regard.
No.
Like Jaden Ivey, in his comments, again, he's got a history of not necessarily being in the best, being carrying himself in the best manner.
Right.
And it's not like he has a major track record, but he's got a guy who's had issues that have popped up. Injury is one of those.
Yeah.
But he's also in a spot where if you go Google his personal past and background,
Yeah.
you can sit there and
Maybe that was the final straw that broke the camel's back too. Maybe that it was just the last straw. Maybe they didn't cut him because of just this comment alone. I mean, his past isn't really the best looking, and he's gotten in trouble before.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is the case. And again, you can get in
Yeah.
trouble and be forgiven and redeemed. Like I'm a big believer forgiveness exists. God forgives everybody because we all sin and fall
Yeah,
short of the glory of God.
absolutely.
This is my Christianity. If you disagree with it, that's fine. But when you look at his history, that's the case. But again, to whom more is given, more is expected. And that's the reality of it with someone like Jaden Ivey.
Also, I think with Tiger Woods, real quick, it seems to be a pattern here. Tiger Woods, greatest golfer, plays well, gets in trouble. Somehow a car wreck is involved, right? Gets back on his feet, greatest to ever live. You celebrate him, and now another car wreck is involved. Who's to say he won't find a way out of this and then get into another car wreck 5 years later because of some other controversial manner?
Well, it's very
Yeah.
true. I mean, that's the
It's a
history of
pattern.
Tiger Woods. But the other one as well on Jaden Ivey,
Yeah.
when you look at his history,
Yeah.
you're like, when you're going out calling out other players, like that's a real slippery slope.
Yes, the
A Steph Curry
call-out
one.
was interesting to me.
To me, when you're doing that, that's where again, I look at it and go, wow, that's the case. And again, he
Yeah.
mentioned, fornicator, porn addict. He had drinking challenges before, and he's changed. And again, I think that's great.
Yeah.
But also, when you have it and it's pretty well documented,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about, that it's hard for you to be judging,
I
especially
agree.
other people, Steph Curry in that regard. And, that's the case. So, Travion Henderson just put out a Bible verse, Matthew 5:10. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Again, I do not go down that road generally because one of my beliefs in Christianity is it frees me from having to make the judgment of
Yeah.
you're going to heaven or going to hell. But I can also sit there and say, again, Travion's got a squeakier past than someone like Jaden Ivey, which is
Yeah.
why how Travion handles this, I think, deserves to be viewed in a different manner.
I don't think Henderson should be persecuted as, say, Richard Incognito, for example, years back.
Yeah.
For his comment.
Well, and again, it's a greater talent, greater tolerance.
Yeah.
Travion Henderson, more talented.
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey, not as much. He was
Yeah.
already on the bench before this.
Yeah.
And so, again, on the one hand, it takes boldness to speak out.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, when you start calling out other people, that's my situation. You can disagree with it without sitting there
I
and saying,
agree.
well, I can't stand Steph Curry and this person and that person. Don't air that level of dirty laundry
Yeah.
to other people.
No.
So, again, I get where Jaden Ivey's coming from. And there's certain elements where I can go, all right, I can get behind you. But the calling out on other people, that's the case. By the way, total side note, does this make Billy Donovan just sit there and go, I'm ready for Carolina?
I mean, could you imagine, this is too much for me. Maybe there's less drama in Chapel Hill.
Yes, maybe there is. So tomorrow in the Fast Lane, we'll get kind of an Olympic sports update. We mentioned getting that earlier today. But when we return in the Fast Lane, a couple of other nuggets before leading into Virginia Tech baseball and FastLaneEdLane@gmail.com and FastLaneEdLane Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Get more on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your trusted dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for over 50 years. With more selection, more value, and more finance options. Plus, your trade is worth more. Shop local and save more with straightforward pricing, plus exceptional service and selection. Your search ends at the Motor Mile. Choose from over 900 quality pre-owned vehicles, plus a massive selection of new car brands in Southwest Virginia. Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Subaru, Kia, Chevrolet, Mitsubishi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and now Buick. Plus, the used car superstore. 12 new car brands, 900 used vehicles. One amazing buying experience. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got more than any other dealer in the area. The Sheeler Motor Mile delivers choices. Here's the difference. Sheeler owns the finance company and makes getting approved for credit simple and easy on the Motor Mile. Flexible financing options for every budget to get you on the road fast. Get more on the Sheeler Motor Mile with a certified friendly staff and no games, no gimmicks. The Sheeler Motor Mile, now in Christiansburg, Radford, and Pulaski. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
Spring's here, finally. So visit Leesville Landscape Supplies for a slam dunk on your next home or business landscape project. Get the region's best mulch, plus decorative stone, propane, block, and hardscape materials for routine lawn care. Leesville Landscape Supplies has grass seed, fertilizer, straw, and topsoil, even hardwood mulch, dyed mulch, pine mulch, gravel, and sand. Start your spring project at Leesville Landscape Supplies at the corner of Water Lake and Leesville Road in Lynchburg, and pick there or have it delivered. Search 24/7 at LeesvilleLandscapes.com. When the thrill of playing ball turns into the agony of a broken windshield or car window, contact Apple Auto Glass. Your local auto glass repair shop on Allegheny Avenue in Lynchburg, Apple Auto Glass provide a professional assessment with the honesty from your neighbors, so you can get back to sharing the great moments this season. Midday hunger hitting you hard? Swing by Macadoo's for our $8.95 weekday lunch specials. Whether you're craving a classic crunch or something fresh, we've got you covered. Chicken tender basket featuring crispy golden tenders served with fries. The Macadoo's Chef Salad, a healthy, loaded favorite that will hit the spot. Hit back against your lunchtime hunger at Macadoo's with eats that won't break the bank.
Time to share it and fun. Just to be there the only one. Just to be there at Macadoo's.
We'll see you at the Doos.
Building your dream home from the ground up? Farmers Bank is here to make it happen. Our construction lending team understands that building is more than a project. It's your future taking shape. We offer local decision making, personalized guidance, and flexible financing options designed to move with your timeline. From lot purchase to final build, we'll walk alongside you every step of the way. Let's build something lasting together. Farmers Bank, your community, your bank, your future.
Step into the Fast Lane 24/7 at Trey Lyle VT and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, back to the Fast Lane.
Other topics, as we mentioned, Tiger Woods being the most dominant one, but ones that we get to go into now in the Fast Five at 5-ish.
It's time for Fast Five at 5-ish. 5-ish minutes on 5 relevant topics done around 5 p.m.-ish. Ish, because our counting skills are kinda ish. Let's start with number 5.
Malcolm Brogdon back at the University of Virginia as a men's basketball strategic advisor. Love the move back for Virginia. You kind of wondered if this was going to happen eventually. He's a guy that's the type of role that would allow him the freedom to do a lot of his humanitarian work. Again, somebody that has done a lot of great work for Virginia basketball and for the community, and therefore is a guy that you would look at and go, okay, he's the type of person you want to have around your program in some capacity. You create a role for a guy like Malcolm Brogdon because of the wisdom that he can share.
Yeah, this is a move they needed to make. Everyone making these type of moves, having sort of a business off of college sport. Love this pickup.
Meanwhile, things that I don't love.
Number 4.
There was a 5-player Oklahoma drill at Southeast Missouri State. You've seen it on Twitter, perhaps.
Yeah.
It has gone viral for this. What the heck are you doing if you're the coaching staff there? Like, are you trying to wipe out an entire position unit? Are you trying to get a position coach fired because you want him to have no players to coach and therefore he doesn't have a job? What in the world? Like, this is what I can't stand because it feeds into this Neanderthal idea when it comes to football, and yet they're real educated, smart people doing the right thing by that. Meanwhile,
Number 3.
we mentioned Billy Donovan wanting to flee the Chicago Bulls. I don't know whether the Jaden Ivey thing has anything to do with this or whether he is actually emerging as Carolina's top choice. He has swung to the favorite in the betting markets ahead of Tommy Lloyd of Arizona. Some of that may be if you're Lloyd in Arizona, you're dragging your feet for another week until the Final Four, which you can hear on the VTRN Sports app, wraps up. If I'm Carolina, Donovan's the guy I would want, though.
Yeah.
Like, to me, he's always been at the top of the list because he won 2 championships in Florida. He got out because he wanted it to be more of a transactional nature. He didn't like the whole always having to recruit and woo people and, make some influencer around some high school player feel good. This is just cut and dry. What's the money situation? How does he fit into the equation professionally? How can you pay me now and get me to the NBA later?
Yeah.
And that seems to actually fit Billy Donovan much better.
And because the Bulls are such a 50-50 team, he could lose his job. So why not go down to the college level? I mean, you can also say Tommy Lloyd is just pulling a Will Wade, even with his comments today in the presser saying, you guys are causing distraction. It's not distracting me. But like I said, anything can happen. Roy Williams told people the same thing when he was with Kansas years ago as they went to the Final Four.
Speaking of Will Wade, we'll get to that in a moment. We're going to be a touch late getting to Virginia Tech baseball with the great Evan Hughes. They are at Radford, 6 o'clock first pitch, but 5:30 airtime.
Number 2.
Speaking of North Carolina, they have suspended discussions around the future of the Smith Center or Carolina North. First of all, this is natural. You're going to wait until a new coach comes in.
Yeah.
And whatever the new coach wants, that's the route you'll end up going. If he says we need to maximize money and we need an off-campus arena, great. If not, you can bring him in there and say, if we want to reset up the Smith Center, that's fine. If I'm Carolina, I wait because even if you're bringing in a new coach, you can say, well, the value of bringing a new coach in, we wanted Billy Donovan, but the only way we could financially make it work for what he needs is we've got to build a new arena off campus. It's a lot easier sell by saying you're suspending it now, bringing the new coach in, and then bringing it back and saying, hey, we want to give him everything he needs to win. So we're either going to keep the Smith Center or we're going to go off campus.
No, I agree with the move for now. It's too controversial to continue talk.
Meanwhile, speaking of Will Wade,
Number 1.
Justin Gainey, the assistant coach from Tennessee, has been named as Will Wade's replacement. I don't know as much about it. He seems a very cerebral coach. He's done well with Tennessee at different levels. My perception of hiring an assistant coach with no experience has changed from the last year. Jay Lucas of Miami did a great job. Luke Laux of Florida State did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was the internal promotion candidate like a Red Autry at Syracuse or Stephen Pearl's the worst example, but even at Auburn, but even Ron Sanchez at Virginia. This is a guy who's been elsewhere, seen what it's operated, and frankly, at a bigger SEC program like Tennessee that's investing financially, and you know that he'll have ties to the school. Maybe a little autocorrect in that, but I at least like the thought process behind this, even if Justin Gainey is hardly as flashy as Will Wade was. You love this, by the way.
Yeah, ties to NC State as a player, and like you said, he's coaching the SEC. He knows what it takes to win, especially with a program like Tennessee. People are going to be like, hey, look at Hubert Davis, former player, turned coach. That didn't work out too well. Gainey, look, you got to take a swing on this, and I think they should have done this last year over Will Wade.
Meanwhile, that does it for us today in the Fast Lane. We have been delayed. We will get it on to Virginia Tech baseball, that is, with the great Evan Hughes. They're taking on Elon tonight. VTRN Sports App at 93.3 FM.
Now, let's go to the ballpark. Here is the voice of Virginia Tech baseball, Evan Hughes.